Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Hope you're all enjoying your holiday weekend for those of you that are celebrating Thanksgiving in the United States. Got your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift. Let's get started with the first one today from Frank Lawston. Do you think the WWE will delay Daniel Bryan's return if the rumors are true, so he will not interfere in Reigns' push? If WWE is smart, they will not bring Daniel Bryan back before the Royal Rumble if Bryan is ready to go. The thing that I find interesting and strange is why hasn't there been any kind of announcement about Daniel Bryan's health? You would think that if it was bad news, something would have come out already. Perhaps Daniel Bryan has been cleared by a third doctor and he's ready to return, but WWE doesn't want that news being leaked out because fans will start rallying behind Daniel Bryan and there'll be all this buzz about him coming back, and maybe WWE is strategically not saying anything about Daniel Bryan's health right now because they don't want people thinking about Daniel Bryan when they're trying to push Roman Reigns as the next big top star. If WWE brings back Daniel Bryan before the Royal Rumble, they're completely nuts because we'll just have yet another repeat of 2014, 2015 with the fans wanting Daniel Bryan in the main event at WrestleMania. Despite the fact that he's gotten injured twice, fans will still want to see him come back and be in the main event of WrestleMania. So if Daniel Bryan is healthy and he's ready to go, you can bring him back for WrestleMania, just don't bring him back before the Royal Rumble. Alright, this one comes from Corby W. Could you see another disaster at WrestleMania 32 and the crowd completely turning on Reigns again? I think it will depend on how Roman Reigns is booked leading into WrestleMania and who his opponent is. I think that if WWE books Roman Reigns as a badass and they don't give him the lame promos and they minimize his talking segments, I think that that will help him. I think if he's in there against the right opponent, he'll get a decent reaction. I think at best Roman Reigns will get a 50-50 reaction against whoever he's facing. If it's Roman Reigns versus Cena, maybe he'll get a better reaction. If it's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, I could see it being 60-40 in favor of Lesnar, probably even a bigger gap than that. But if Reigns is booked properly, I think fans will be more accepting to him. My concern is WWE sees Roman Reigns as the all-around sports entertainer, and he has to come out there and he has to cut 15-minute promos, and they'll keep giving him bad material, and the fans will just never accept him in that top star role. Alright, this one comes from Shitin the Villa. Who do you see winning the Rumble? For me, it's 100% Lesnar, thanks. It's still too early for me to really give a good prediction about the Royal Rumble winner. If you put a gun to my head and I had to predict a Royal Rumble winner right now, I'd say it's Brock Lesnar. I would say that Roman Reigns defeats Sheamus at either TLC or the Royal Rumble, and Brock Lesnar wins the Rumble, and that sets up Lesnar versus Reigns. To me, that seems to make the most logical sense, but there's a lot of different possibilities right now for WrestleMania. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, it could be Reigns versus Cena if WWE feels that is the best match to get Reigns over as a babyface, and that could be a passing of the torch with John Cena putting over Roman Reigns, and the fans would be happy about that. It's really hard to say right now. I think after TLC we'll have a little bit of a better idea. If Lesnar's in the Rumble, I would be shocked if he does not win it. So it's going to be a matter of who's in the Rumble. We don't know at this point. We don't know who the WWE Champion is going to be, what the championship match is at the Rumble, and we don't know who's in the Rumble yet for sure. So until that happens, it's really hard to make a prediction right now, and there's a lot of different possibilities for WrestleMania. So I would say Lesnar right now, but nothing is set in stone at this point. Alright, this one comes from Josh Fuller. What did you think of the match and idea at Survivor Series 2004 with Team Orton versus Triple H and the winners would run Raw? I liked it. It was creative. It was something different that we hadn't seen prior to that. It's certainly better than anything WWE's done in recent memory. I liked the idea of a different person running the show every week, and I felt that it gave you a reason to tune in to the next show. At least for a month, you had something different to look forward to. So I definitely thought it was a clever concept. Alright, this one comes from @Daniel_Allen445. Who had the best World Heavyweight Championship run from Triple H in 2002 to Cena in 2013? I liked Benoit or Batista's first run as champion. The problem with Benoit's reign is that he was more or less a secondary character next to Triple H. Triple H was still the focal point of the storylines, even though Chris Benoit was the champion. So I felt that he didn't have quite as much impact that he should have had as world champion. I think I would have to go with Batista, because Batista became a dominant champion. He had a long reign from WrestleMania all the way into January when he got hurt, so he didn't even lose the title. He had to give it up. Batista had a very dominant run as champion on both Raw and SmackDown. He beat Triple H 3 times. He beat JBL. He beat Eddie Guerrero. He had a great run as champion. Say what you will about Batista, but he really elevated that title. He made the title more important. He was a great champion, no question about it. So I would go Batista. Alright, this one comes from AceMaker025. Do you think TNA will rise when they debut on Pop TV if WWE continues to have poor storytelling with no logical sense? Honestly, I doubt TNA will do anything significant in the ratings. Maybe they will get a slight increase from Destination America. If TNA really has something special that they can hype and build up, if they can sign a major superstar, maybe that'll draw up a little bit of interest in the company. Maybe that'll create some buzz. But right now, I have my serious doubts that TNA is going to be able to have any kind of momentum on Pop TV. I think at best, they'll get slightly higher television raters and viewership, but that's about it. There's no indication to me that TNA is going to be able to rebound from where they've been the past 2-3 years. I just don't see it happening. I think the brand name is beyond repair at this point, unfortunately. I hate to say that because WWE desperately needs competition. It's just TNA is TNA, and I don't see anything happening with TNA in 2016 beyond the norm, what they've been doing the past couple years. Alright, this one comes from David. What was the worst part of TNA before Hogan came into the company? I would say 2003, when TNA was doing the weekly pay-per-views. TNA was still trying to figure out what TNA was exactly. TNA, I will give them a pass during those early years because they were still a young company, and back then they could use that excuse. TNA was throwing so many things at the wall, hoping something would stick. You had Vince Russo and Roddy Piper cutting shoot promos on each other. You had Tony Schiavone with a beard coming out there as a heel. You had Raven getting scalped by James Mitchell. You had random people coming back like Nikita Koloff, stars from the past, Lex Luger, Sting. TNA was just trying to have a hook for every single show so people would buy the pay-per-views. I felt that 2007 and 2008 were not good years for TNA because I felt Vince Russo's booking was keeping TNA down and keeping them from reaching a higher level of success, but that stuff was gold compared to when Hogan and Bischoff came in. When Hogan and Bischoff came in, TNA became even more like WCW, all the worst things about WCW, and it became the Hulk Hogan show. The TNA universe centered around Hulk Hogan. All the storylines revolved around him in some way. It was the Hulk Hogan show, and the ratings tell a story. What else can I say? Alright, this one comes from Isabella. Hey Aaron, how was your birthday and what were your top 5 Edge moments? Thank you and please answer in your next video. My birthday was great. I wish Survivor Series was a better show, but what could you do? As far as Edge goes, I think definitely his number one moment was when he cashed in Money in the Bank for the first time against John Cena. His second Money in the Bank cash-in, the spear to Jeff Hardy at WrestleMania 17, the live sex celebration with Lita, And anything he did with Vicky Guerrero. I liked the whole wedding angle where it was revealed that Edge was having an affair on Vicky. I thought Edge was tremendous in that whole storyline with Vicky. So there's just so many moments with Edge, it's hard to just narrow it down to 5 moments. Alright, this one comes from Jared J. Smith. Hey Aaron, what were your top 5 worst Survivor Series pay-per-views, and where would you rank this year's? This year's would definitely be in my top 5 bottom. 1993 was really bad. I felt that 2008 was very forgettable with John Cena and Chris Jericho. 2010, Randy Orton versus Wade Barrett with John Cena as the referee. 2011, I think, was one of the most disappointing Survivor Series. The fact that The Miz and R-Truth were booked so poorly as opponents for John Cena and The Rock, it was so predictable. And I felt that 1997, while it was historically significant, I mean, one of the biggest events in wrestling history, the Montreal Screwjob, I felt the rest of the pay-per-view was complete garbage. So I would say 97 was one of the worst ones, despite the fact that it was so historical in wrestling history. Alright, this one comes from Richard Morales Jr. Women like Beth Phoenix, Michelle McCool, and Melina, are they Hall of Fame worthy? All 3 accomplished a lot in their careers. Please answer in video. Maybe one of those 3 will go in at some point. I would be surprised though. I mean, yes, all 3 of them were fairly successful in WWE as divas, but Sable hasn't even gone into the Hall of Fame yet. Right now, it's way too soon to talk about any of those 3 going to the Hall of Fame. Melina, yes, she was a manager of Eminem for a while, and she had an epic singles run and had some classic matches against Alicia Fox. Michelle McCool, she was part of the faction with Cool, with Layla, and Beth Phoenix had a good run with Santino for a while, but I would be surprised if any of them went into the Hall of Fame, just because there's other women that I think are higher on the list to go in, like Sable, as I mentioned. But never say never. I say it every time. If Coco can go in, one of those divas can certainly go in. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it, like this video, tell a friend about it, and I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ&A video.